It's the Lion Heart LH9. Clear.
Hi, this is Misha, and this is another Korean Daewoo video. But not this Daewoo, probably the most famous. We've got videos on it. This Daewoo. This is the Daewoo DP51, which is the police and the export, the civilian version, of the Korean military's K5. Now, much like how the Daewoo K1 was Korea's first domestically developed and produced firearm, and the K2 was its first domestically developed and produced standard infantry rifle, the K5 was its first domestically developed and introduced service pistol. After the K1 was introduced in '81, and the K2 was introduced in '84 and started to go into widespread service in '87, they turned attention to the pistol. They needed a new gun. They had been using a hodgepodge of old guns, and Korea has always had a large military because of, well, South Korea has always had a large military, the Republic of Korea, because of North Korea, Communist Korea. They've had about 600,000 people in active service and another 2.9 million in reserve service, meaning they've got over 3.5 million potential soldiers, and many would be officers, military police, MPs, special forces, and just other people needing a relatively compact and light handgun. And what Daewoo came up with is really a nice amalgamation and shows its very late 80s roots. Development would begin in 1984 with some of the earliest prototypes and schemes showing up between '85 running through '88, and this would begin with the XK prototype, which would become adopted as the K5 in 1989 after going through trials. So what do we have here? You know, most handguns are pretty boring, or it should say standard, you know. Either they're in the 1911 copy, or P38 copy, or Beretta copy, or Glock copy, or CZ75, lots of those. But the K5 really does its own thing. Now, we are firing 9mm, 9x19 Parabellum, today often known 9mm NATO. Again, Korea is very much a NATO ally. Our gun is not very heavy. We're at about 28 ounces. It's under 2 pounds for a service gun. This is quite good. We have a anodized aluminum alloy frame. We have a steel slide and barrel, of course, that's phosphated. We have a 4.1-inch barrel. Luckily, we are not plugged into any electrical sockets at the moment. And overall, we're at about 7.5 inches. So as you can tell, this is a relatively light and compact gun, but not subcompact size. This is very much like, say, the SIG 228 in its size, or the Walther P88 compact. That classification, I guess you would say. Typical military 3-dot sights. Typical polymer panels. We have a lanyard loop in the back. We have serrated back strap and front strap. We have a little lip here to make sure we get our mags out. These are 13 round mags, double stack. Smith & Wesson Model 59 mags will fit in these, but not hold the slide back. Factory ones will, of course. The slider release is only on the left, but our safety is on the left and the right. Reminds me of a CZ VZ82 safety. Actually completely disables the trigger, as you see. Even if the trigger is forward. The mag catch is only on one side, but for something relatively new at the time, it is reversible to be on the other side. No rail or anything under the barrel. The rails were far from standard. Internally, we have a Browning modified dropping barrel, like on a Smith & Wesson Model 59, or a Walther P88, or a SIG 226-228, so very standard operating system. See? Got a guide rod there. Pretty standard there. The next thing is the trigger. Now this is in single action. Boop. Put it back. Okay. We also have double action. A little heavier, but still smooth. Nice large hammer. And we have the fast action, as it was first known. Later the triple action, as it became rebranded, or the double action plus. Cock it back, and you can take your finger and push it forward. Now this is something that some carry-oriented 1911s have started to do in the last decade too. So we're forward, which would be like a regular double action, but the spring is already compressed, so our pull is very light. So we get the length of pull of a double. We get the lightness of a single, and we don't have a hammer cocked in back. Now this was mostly a psychological thing. It was reported, who knows if it's true, but it's a good story, that some people in Korea did not like to see their police walking around with the gun cocked. So they pushed it forward so they feel safe. Probably very accustomed to, say, 1911s, but you could still safely have a round in the chamber. And if you needed to do it, your long pull acts as a decent safety, but it's not heavy like a double. You can also pull it back, push it forward, and if you want it back again, you can either flop it right back. It's very easy to do, back and forth, or even stage it back with the trigger, like that. It's pretty easy to do. So it's a unique system for safety, and I think they were just trying to go for cool points too. And that's probably the big feature of this gun. As I said, the K5 was the military version. The DP51, manufactured by Daewoo, was the commercial version for export and police. And these were imported into America in the 90s by first B West and then later Kimber. Earlier guns like this would come with two 13-round mags and were very affordable. After the federal assault weapons ban of September of '94, they would of course ship with only 10-round mags. These would disappear from the market after Daewoo's parent company, after Daewoo Precision's parent company, Daewoo Corporation, collapsed and was, split apart and everything got restructured. But as of 2011, they've come back into the market, now manufactured by S&T Motiv, who basically bought the Daewoo factory. And they're distributed by Lion Heart as the LH9. And Jay has one of those, and he can splice some video of his gun showing his compared to mine here. Talk about it. Now this is the standard version in 9mm with the 4-inch barrel. They also did a DP51S, which was a a semi-compact, and they did a DP51C, a full compact, all 3 and 9. They also did a DH40, surprisingly not, in 40 cal Smith & Wesson, and they even tried out doing a DH45 in 45 ACP, but it barely got out of the prototype stage. Very few were actually made. I don't really know what Lion Heart is doing in the LH series recently. I haven't really kept up with them. Again, Jay can update you there. He's the more modern gun guy if you haven't noticed. I'm more into these old things. But these guns are very affordable. You can still pick up gently used examples. I got this one with its box and mag, 2 mags, excuse me, for under $350, and I think it is very nice quality. I like the action. It's military proven. It's not just a gimmick, and it really is up there. Okay, it may not be SIG quality, but it is definitely up there with many other guns. And hey, it's an all-metal gun, yet it still weighs well under 2 pounds. So, gotta be said for something like that, right? Well, just thought this gun deserved its own little video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like Daewoo stuff and have not, please check out our other videos on the rifles, such as the K2 and also the K1A1. If you like this video, please click like. And if you'd like to help support us, please check out the link to our Patreon page. This is Misha, and we'll catch you next time.